wishy-washy Pac fans, yo, stand on the media. Yo, I want you to say for my channel, welcome to Wrench Game. Keep doing your fucking shit, ninja. Yo, y'all follow that nigga right there. Stand on the media. That nigga be saluting me. He be doing his own fucking thing. He be doing other topics besides Pac, but he's definitely like on his Pac shit. He's brand new in the game. Y'all follow channels like that. Veggie already reported this nigga. We started that war, nigga. We sent that missile. Veggie was a deacon in the church selling dope. John Howland had a boyfriend named Sid. We sent those missiles, nigga. Have some fucking respect like these other channels do. These other channels, these new... Yo, Veggie's reporting channels. Scandalous Los Angeles TV, some shit like that. Stand on the TV, stand on the media. These niggas are new YouTubers that Reggie Jr. is reporting, right?
Welcome back to Scandalous Los Angeles TV, where we expose the exposers. The other day, y'all saw what Young Ant did. He went on No Jumper and actually asked Dragonfly Jones about being CS2 back, something we've never seen Vlad or Adam 22 do. And after watching that, it really got me thinking. It's crazy that Porky has been sitting over there on No Jumper all this time, and yet Adam still hasn't asked him a single question about CS2 back. Not one. So it made me stop and think. In all these episodes, all these interviews, all these appearances, there are literally millions of questions Adam never asked him. So I sat down and made a list. A list of questions Adam never asked in over 100 shows together. In this episode, we're going to take a little trip down memory lane. We're going to revisit the lies. And I've got 20 questions right here for anybody out there who really wants to go viral. Here's your blueprint. 20 questions for CS2 back. Guaranteed to get the internet talking. Alright, first question for Porky. Hey Porky, what would you call a black man who goes on a white-owned podcast and tries to implicate another black man in a murder they didn't commit?
We only talked about you a little bit.
Right. Now, unless he want to talk about how he lined his son up to get killed for the insurance money.
See, what is
we
that?
Ain't talking. We can talk about it. We ain't talking about it. How he got some responsibility in getting, old boy killed that they love up there in the Bay. These niggas roll blunts with their kids and pop perks with their kids because they think it's cool.
Why do you think he gave his son lean?
It ain't about thinking, it's about what we know.
How do you know?
Did he collect the life insurance?
I don't know. Do you know?
Well, that's a fact.
Even if that was true, don't you think
That's a fact.
it's kind of ugly to be bringing that to the table.
Yeah, that ain't he got the other man smoked. After the murder, when Quando went back to Georgia, what did he immediately do?
Dropped his flag?
There it goes. What was he claiming?
Roll 60 script.
Where Brick Baby from?
Roll 60 script.
What you think the police told Quando?
That the Roll 60s set him up?
Who you think he checked in with?
Roll 60s?
With who?
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
That's
I'm not going to say
listen.
it. Yeah.
Listen.
I'm not going to say it.
No, listen.
What's the word for that, Porky? Do you have any examples of a black man doing something like that? Sitting down on a white-owned platform with millions of subscribers and attempting to tie another black man's name to a murder he had nothing to do with. What do you call a black man who moves like that, Porky? I'm just curious, in your own words, because it sounds real familiar. Second question, Porky. Why did you go on Vlad TV and lie about doing time in Soledad?
So by the time I left there, I hit Soledad. Now Youth Authority, I'd already ran through that, so at 16, I'm in Soledad.
Why make that up? If there's no Soledad time in your record, why fabricate that story? And while we're at it, why did you lie about the C. Wack story? You know the one. Why'd you make that up too?
And I went to reception, and they put me in cell with a G homie named Baby Wayne from Billystown, Paru. And I think at that point is when my penitentiary training started. Because he had been to prison 2-3 times. The good thing about Baby Wayne was a knockout artist. And when you were a young Paru in the cell with a G homie, you're gonna fight at least 3-4 times a week just because. So, he kind of got me stronger with my push-up game, my physical game, and he made me squabbling him every day, almost. So by the time I left there, I hit Soledad. And Soledad was really, that was the birth. That was the birth of CK Wack.
Was that just another case of you trying to build up your fake rep? Next question. If you're not CS2 back, then why have you spent the last 2 years telling so many lies about him? Why did you lie and say, the paperwork said he was a low-level drug dealer?
Now listen, if you read the paper, you read the work, the work said, whoever this dude is, he's a low-level drug dealer, and he's in fear that his family members in the main streets will be hurt.
Where did you get that from? Because it's not in the paperwork. Also, why did you lie and say the paperwork said that CS2 back was in fear for him and his family's life in the main streets, when the paperwork doesn't say that either? It also doesn't say that CS2 back was from Main Street. Why have you gone out of your way to make people believe that lie? And more importantly, why did you lie and say the Deuce added the name back to the paperwork?
Peace, winning credit, some fake work, and add some back shit. You don't see that, use a bozo. I'm done talking about that shit. Peace, winning credit, some fake work, and add some back shit. You don't see that, use a bozo. I'm done talking about that shit.
You told us to go ask Mark Stevens and Stutterbox if you were CS2 back. Why did Mark Stevens tell us that you were CS2?
And do you, in that paperwork, do you see your conversation with Cass Jones in them transcripts?
That was the initiating. When they started recording.
Right. And how did they refer to Cass Jones?
In the paperwork they put him as Back. B-A-C-K.
Why did Stutterbox tell us that you were CS2 back?
I call Wack. My Rolls Royce gets shot up. My girl almost get killed. I lay on top of her. We make it up out of there. Wack see the bullet holes in my car the next day. He reaching out, trying to contact the nigga who's supposed to be the boogeyman. I know where the nigga live at, behind my back. It's in the paperwork. All on Wiretap. It's in the paperwork. All on Wiretap. It's in the paperwork. All on Wiretap.
Next set of questions, Porky. What kind of relationship do you really have with Greg Kading that makes you feel so comfortable lying on his name all the time? Why did you lie and say Greg Kading owed you a favor?
Officer Greg Kading and Darren Dupree or some shit.
Yeah.
When we coming outside on the stairway, me and my attorney, they stop us. They say, look, man, we can't afford this harassment lawsuit. You know, I'm beyond the gated community. I'm claiming I'm embarrassed. I gotta move my family. My wife is traumatized. She kicked my dough in. I'm putting extras on it, right?
Right.
They said, listen, man. They advised my attorney. My attorney said, look, dude said, drop the case and they owe you one. If you don't drop it, right, then you know what come with that. My attorney's talking to me. He know my personal business and say, you know how you are every day, so you don't really need that in your mix. So I said, well, listen, I don't need no motherfuckers hemming me up every day. We figured out as we figured out. I'll leave it like that.
Because when Greg Kading was asked about it, he said you were lying.
Okay, all of that is absolute bullshit, except for the fact we met him at his lawyer's office. We sat down. We said, "Here's the deal, man. You know, we've had this case against you. We came up empty-handed. You know, sorry that you got caught in the middle of this. Somebody put your name out there. We didn't know any better, so we followed. You know, we gave fucking Stutterbox the benefit of the doubt. Here we are. You know, was there an apology? Nah, I don't know. It's my style to kind of apologize. Sorry you had to fucking go through this. But nonetheless, it is what it is. The idea of suing us, fucking bullshit. Us having an agreement like we owe you one, bullshit.
And while we're here, why did Greg Kading say you were lying when you claimed you freed Shaquille O'Neal and the 7 Main Street Crips?
Right? I call my man Money Mark. Right? Money Mark is Shaquille's right-hand man, his business partner. I say, yo, Mark, check it out. Call my attorney. Tell my attorney I said put you online with that federal officer. Have your attorney call that federal officer to the stand. Well, first tell him to call Box to the stand. You want him to do one thing and one thing only. Ask Box if he's a federal informant, document it. Everybody from LA is in the courtroom, he's gonna lie. Trust me, I know him, he's gonna lie. When that happens, I'm giving you a jewel because Shaq looked out for me, right? I don't need this favor, so I'm passing it to you. Have your attorney call this Greg Kading in, have him take the stand, and then let him tell the judge and present the documents he had, the fingerprints, all the paperwork, the payments they've been paying this dude every month to show that this dude is a federal informant. At that point in time, Box has perjured himself on the stand. Whatever allegations against Shaq and anybody else tied to the case, they got to kick it out.
The idea of him having anything to do with the trial of when Stutterbox went to testify and the thing fell apart, Cash had absolutely nothing to do with any of that. So he's just taking all of these pieces of information and putting them together like he was the puppet master. It's all absolute bullshit.
Why did you lie and tell everybody that Greg Kading was the lead detective in the investigation?
We got Reggie Wright, top right. Reggie Wright contacted Greg Kading's. Greg Kading's was the lead investigator on that case. Greg Kading's was the lead investigator on that case.
You said it over and over, like it was a fact. But the paperwork doesn't say that. And Greg Kading himself said it wasn't true. So Greg, let me ask you, because the people want to know. When Wack brought you on Clubhouse, he introduced you as the lead investigator on the Stutterbox case. Is that true? Were you the lead investigator in that case?
No, that's not true. No, that's not true.
Why did you let Lieutenant Officer Love's boys get on his platform and lie on Greg Kading too? Why let him tell people Greg Kading was the lead investigator in the case?
Jones, we don't usually use monikers under those circumstances, like Wack or Wack 100.
Okay, so this is the lead detective in the investigation.
When the paperwork clearly says otherwise. The paperwork says Mark Stevens was talking to Del Dog. And he told Del Dog that a guy named Back wanted his number. And when you look at that paperwork, it clearly identifies Back as being confidential source number 2, or CS2 for short. So if the paperwork identifies Back as CS2, and that's who Mark Stevens and Del Dog are talking about, why did Greg Kading say that the conversation they were having in the wiretap was about you, Porky? if you're not CS2 back. But you're agreeing that in the transcripts we have, it's Wack that Mark and Dell are talking about in the conversation they're having, right?
Yes. And I think Wack admits that. And I think Wack admits that. But this whole thing with Back, it would have just been CS2, typically just left alone, CS2, because the investigators all know who CS2 is.
But in a wiretap, aren't they supposed to type exactly what they hear the person say?
But that's not what you're reading. You're not reading. Pardon me, I'm getting stuff. So the conversation is there. You can see the conversation, right?
Right. And they're using his name as they're talking. The boy back wants your phone number. The person who transcribed the wiretap is typing that Mark is saying back, but Mark is saying that he was not saying back. He was saying Wack. And you already agreed that these guys are talking about Wack right here, but it's just using the name back until the last paragraph. In the last paragraph, Mark Stevens actually says the Wack boy.
Okay, so he's talking about Wack.
Another round of questions for you, Porky. Why did you spend so much time lying on Spider? Why did you make up that story about you and him going way back to the juvenile side of the county?
That's what we gonna do. How about we say Spider gave Black Wall Street a pass today. So Spider looks at me because we go back to the juvenile side of the county. Spider.
This nigga's a Y'all just heard him on the internet saying I never been to jail. I didn't even know this much of a lie was a... I didn't know he said that. Oh, no.
Why did you insert him into that story about 40 Glock pressing game and spitting all over his car? Why bring Spider's name into something he had nothing to do with? Why did you lie about J-Rock? First you said he swung on you, missed, and ran.
So you guys had a relationship.
This is who J-Rock was to me. J-Rock was my son's personal security. Understand something.
Okay.
That's just like if this brother sees me, right? And he's walking up. He's not looking at me as a threat. Oh, that's Wack. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, my first time taking J-Rock to the 60s, Big U sons didn't want to do something to him. But we was in the alley off 42nd. I had to stop it. Right? We was on our way to Vegas to do a show or whatever, right? So, Nipsey used to call me about J-Rock. Hey, yo, Wack, man, did you have these experiences with J-Rock? Because he knew he worked when we was in Miami. J-Rock was with us the whole 30 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, he don't mean nothing by sometimes he'll slack up, whatever. It's cool, right? So as I'm walking up, and we running a little late. We running a little late that day, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. We running a little late, and we trying to get to the trailer because we got to get to the other side of Rolling Loud. So when I go to turn the corner, I believe Blueface goofing off doing something else. So the homies that's usually behind me on the side of me, they not there and I don't know it, right? So I'm going to turn the corner. I feel something swing at me. I feel it. I take another step and thought about it and I turn. And when I turned, I said, nigga, did you just try to fire on me? And he took off running.
But then you sat in front of Jason Lee and bragged about getting punched in the mouth by him.
That's really all that was.
But did he hit you and run?
No, he hit me and Ray got a good one in.
Really?
And I'm kind of like glad he did it, because I always ask myself, because I get off first.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I get off. Yeah, I'm fine. So yeah. So but dude, 300 pounds. So I always question could you handle one of them? You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like a bad night, but a good night, because I'm like, shit, I ate that.
But I've seen.
How many of 40 Glock's Instagram pages did you personally have removed because of those allegations involving the 16-year-old girl he was pressing on you about? And while we're here, why did you lie and say that Marion Knight would be out of jail in 90 days? And you were gonna help get him out.
Scared of Suge. I just talked to Suge. Suge just gave me his life rights to do his movie. Stay tuned. Yeah, Wack got the life rights. TMZ, whoever y'all looking, Wack got the life rights to do Suge Knight's movie as of 48 hours ago. We just talked for the first time. Me and the homie got settled our differences.
You know what I'm saying? We was mad at each other. I got the life rights. He Suge Knight. Let me tell it, he'll be home in the next 90 days. I'm gonna prepare his bail, all that. Life rights is coming. The rise and fall of death row. What I'm scared of my homeboy for? What you talking about?
Why did you say that publicly when you knew it wasn't true? Here's another question for you, Porky. If you already know that Diamond Blue is in prison serving a life sentence, why would you go on Chuck's podcast and shout to the whole world that he murdered another woman when you knew that wasn't true?
Lying under a fake name.
How did you originally get into it?
Did he line that girl up and had her killed? He got that girl
hold on, Wack. I want to hear this, though. Hey,
ask that nigga why he got that lady killed in his penitentiary picture lined up.
This nigga is an informant. He always want to talk about a nigga getting killed and all this shit. This nigga's an informant.
Why are you so in love with placing false murder raps on people? And here's the last question for this video.